welcome to In My Mug, episode 313 on Monday the 10th of November 2014. I am your host, Stephen Layton. Welcome to In My Mug, and welcome to the news. Okay, so you may be wondering why I'm so exasperated. This is my third In My Mug, straight on the trot. I've been recording them. This is the last of the ones. I am back from Asia, from my Korea tour, and China and Taiwan, but I'm exhausted. So I've recorded this before I went away because I know what I'm going to be like when I get back. I've talked about this every week and I promise to stop talking about it soon, but In My Mug has gone bi-weekly and monthly. You can also pay for it in a number of ways of weekly recurring direct debit, weekly recurring PayPal payment, one-off 4-week payment, one-off 12-week payment, one-off 52-week payment. You can pay however you like. You can decide whether you want one a week, one every other week, one a month. The choice is yours. It's crazy. We've gone all crazy. But you should subscribe now. As I said, back from my Asia tour. This is pre-recorded. I know I'm going to be broken. I'll be back to normal next week. You're going to start hearing lots about it. I will be telling you lots about my trip. I'm sure I'm going to have had lots of fun while I'm out there, and there'll be things all over the internet about it. But I have nothing else for the news because it's so far in the future, so that was the very cobbled together and terrible short news. But we're not going to have a terrible focus on, because today we're going to focus on Antigua in Guatemala. So the city of Antigua was the capital of the Satepec province, and still is today. Guatemala, is amazing, but this is the charming old colonial city part that for many years was the political, religious and economic heart of Central America, but has been destroyed quite a few times, and the worst one being in 1773 after a huge, catastrophic, violent earthquake. The series of earthquakes just levelled the city, destroying most of the buildings, even the ones that had been well built, and there weren't so many of those back in that day either. Thousands and thousands of people were killed in these eruptions and earthquakes, and the region just plunged into chaos for a while. You can still see today some of the fallen rubble on the historical sites of Antigua. And a decision was made to move the capital city to its present location, which is Guatemala City, which is about 50-60 kilometres away. Thousands of local Indians were conscripted to move what could be salvaged and rebuild on the new site. You just can't imagine this happening today. Most of the survivors were ordered to move. Most did, some didn't, and remained behind in the rubble of the city that they loved. I think it's an amazing story. I can't get my head around it. But that was the focus on. And we should talk about coffee, because that's what we're here to do, not talk about levelled cities and capital cities moving. This coffee farm is located in Antigua, which we've just talked about, and is one of the most interesting stories of coffee, which I'll get to in a minute. It's owned by the Falas family, and this is one of the most organised, professionally run farms I've ever seen. Not just in Guatemala, not just in Antigua, but anywhere, and they do an amazing job. Every stage is closely managed. They are onto every single detail. These coffees are grown between 1,500 and 1,950 metres above sea level, on volcanoes. So not near volcanic soil, on volcanoes. This is the Acatenango volcano that this farm goes right onto. San Sebastian owners know everything about specialty coffee. They know how to market it, they know how to sell it, they know how to make me pay for it. But they are constantly checking quality, they are constantly looking for unique lots on the table that they can sell to people like me. The farm was founded over 100 years ago and is now in the hands of the 4th generation of the Falas family. Estado Falas Castillo, who is the great-grandson of the owner. And he's been looking at ways to make San Sebastian more sustainable for the future. You've always been able to find very good, clean, washed processed coffee. But over the last few years, they've started to experiment, and they've started to experiment with natural coffees, with pulp natural coffees. They've also been experimenting with varietals, so Bourbon, Caturra, Pacamaras, and separating out the lots. It's this progressive approach to farming that makes San Sebastian stand out. And the thing is that Antigua for a long time didn't stand out. Antigua rested on its laurels. So if you had a Guatemalan Antiguan, you could get a higher price for it or without even trying. And it meant that the quality of Antigua coffees dropped. What they're doing at San Sebastian is quite unique and really good for the area, and great to see that the qualities are improving. So we should go through the figures. The farm is San Sebastian. It's owned by the Fallas family. Nearest city is Antigua, the San Miguel Duenas area of Antigua. The farm size is 420 hectares, which is big. It's big. Has an altitude of 1,500 to 1,950 metres above sea level. The varieties on the farm are Bourbon, Caturra and Pacamara, but this week's is most definitely a Bourbon. And the process for this one is probably the most challenging process that they do, and it is the natural, but it's a deliciously clean natural, and we're going to find that out in a minute. But before we do that, we have to do this week's map bit, and I know how good the map bit is for this one. It's fantastic. So hello again. Look, I'm waving. Bye. Off you go. Clear off. You see the postman's there on that as well. He's just collecting everything, collecting all the In My Mugs. So we're going up and we're going across to Central America, which is where I am, as you have just seen. And Central America, you've got Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, but not Mexico, funnily enough. I didn't know that until recently, until somebody pulled me up. We're going to be looking at Guatemala. So Guatemala, our interesting fact is that the first ever chocolate bar was made there by the Mayans, I think it is. So yeah, that's the interesting non-coffee related fact. But we're going to go down to Antigua. And if you look there, you can actually see the Antigua volcano. I think that is amazing. Just seeing those two volcanoes there. And Antigua used to be the capital city of Guatemala, but there were so many earthquakes and volcano eruptions that they moved it to Guatemala City. But Antigua stays, and it's a beautiful, beautiful town. But we're looking at San Sebastian, so we're zooming down. Can you see me on the patios? I'm waving again. Come on, zoom down a bit more. No, it won't zoom down anymore, so you can't see me. But I'm there, and we'll go down to the floor here. It doesn't look so high, but it's still around about 1,700 metres. You can see the lowest point is the Pacific Ocean, and the highest point is a volcano. So up we go in again. Let's have another look at, see if we can get some more topography in there. So can I move it round? There we go. So, and there we go. That was the map bit. So let's go do Roland's daft fact of the week. On November the 7th in 2012, a magnitude of 7.4 earthquake rocked Guatemala. At least 48 people were killed, with at least 150 seriously injured, 23 people missing. It's a very active region for volcanoes and a very dangerous place to live. It just tells you what an active area that the Guatemala, well, Central America really is for volcanoes still. Volcanoes, earthquakes are common occurrences, and yeah, it's somewhere that scares me a little. Anyway, I should stop talking. I should go make tasting delicious drinks. Be back with you in just a moment. And I'm back, and I'm going to dive straight into this espresso. Quick stir. It's the most obvious raisins I have ever tasted in an espresso. It is full of raisins. Dark chocolate, raisins, a little bit boozy, but so clean. Like, so painfully clean. And I like it as an espresso, but I think I'm going to like it here more. And of course I am, because what it does, powers through. There's those big coffee flavours, there's that dried raisin flavour coming through, there's the chocolate, and it just works with the milk. It comes through. It's tasty and it is equally delicious. So, Chemex has been mug, all available to purchase from the site. So let's dive in. That raisin, that chocolate. But what hits you in this one more is how clean it is. It's super clean. It's not like a natural I've had anywhere else. They do such a good job of processing. It really is a great example of what can be done with naturals. The body is immense in that. I mean, it's covering my mouth. It's so thick and glupeous and big and... Okay, enough growling, enough roaring. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. And do remember, life is definitely too short for bad coffee.